regular meeting of the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders to be held on Wednesday, October 11th, 7 p.m. is called to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Pratt.
Here.
Freeholder Graham.
Here.
Freeholder Rose. Freeholder Director Lazaro.
Here. Please join me in a moment of silence and salute to the flag led by Freeholder Graham.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice is defined by Section 3D of Chapter 231, PL 1975, has been made by regular mail, such notice being submitted on January 5th, 2017, from the Administrative Center of the County of Sussex, located at 1 Spring Street, Newton, New Jersey, to the following: New Jersey Herald, WSUS Radio, New Jersey Sunday Herald, WNNJ Radio, Star Ledger. Is also posted on the bulletin board maintained in the Administrative Center for Public Announcements and has been submitted to the Sussex County Clerk in compliance with said act. Can I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Freeholder Graham. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Freeholder Rose. Is there discussion?
I'd like to make an amendment and add item O to item 10, entitled Resolution Regarding Release of Closed Session Documents for September 27, 2017 meeting. Such resolution to read: motion to release all documents and other materials, including but not limited to all documents that the Freeholder Board received, and the minutes from the executive session of the meeting held on September 27, 2017 at the Freedom Municipal Building. All documents and materials shall be subject to a 72-hour review and redaction by the County Council. Said period to begin upon the passage of this resolution. We'll do that first and come back to it.
Do you have a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to change item 11, the dates to read September 27, 2017 on both items.
Is there a second?
I'm going to abstain, but yes, second. Why do you need a second? Maybe you need a second. I need a second.
Okay. Is there discussion?
So who's seconding it?
Who's second?
I'll second it. Okay, better. So now we're reading the minutes instead of September 27th instead of September 30th. Any discussion?
Just a typo.
To the typo.
Typo.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. That it? Approve the agenda.
That's all I have.
Is there a motion on the agenda? Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approved. Proclamations, certificates, and presentations. We have a proclamation recognizing October 18, 2017 as Taking Flight to Change Day.
Who's that?
Bill, which one do you want?
I've got breast cancer.
I believe.
We don't have a proclamation for that one.
The only only got 3 listed.
You've got 3 listed.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
There's one, I got one, George. Well, I've got national breast cancer, Jonathan has domestic violence. What do you have?
George has a
I was gonna say, is that taking flight change?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I
yeah,
might-
it's down in the, it's in the
George
therefore
has it,
clause.
okay. We got it down at the bottom.
Thank you. Sorry. They hid it in the text. Hello.
Hey, morning,
Hi.
Steve.
Hello, Christina. How are you? Okay. This is proclamation regarding, I thought it was about bullying. I didn't realize that taking flight to change. You want to talk about it first? No? Want to talk about it first?
Well, taking flight to change,
Yes.
it is about bullying.
Okay.
It's for 17 years now, Sussex County middle school students and high school students from every single school, private and public, have been meeting together on this day. It takes place during the 3rd week of the month of October, which is New Jersey recognizes school violence that month and trying to have kids be proactive. And so this day is a way to empower students, to give them knowledge about bullying and positive school climate, and give them tools, and they create an action plan and go back to their school to do something. So we're really proud that for 17 years, kids have been gathering together, over 1,000 kids, including middle school and high school kids, to really make a difference and go back to their schools and affect change. So Taking Flight to Change is the name of it. Every year is a different theme, and we gave you a little book that every kid gets. It's called Be Kind Every Day, Every Time to Everyone, and it's got all kinds of ideas and suggestions for them to utilize in making a difference in their school.
Yep.
We're just proud that every middle school in Sussex County participates in every high school. It's really an amazing day for all the kids.
Whereas bullying is defined as physical, verbal, sexual, or emotional harm or intimidation intentionally directed at a person or group of people. And whereas bullying occurs in neighborhoods, playgrounds, schools, through technology such as internet, cell phones. Boy, it sure happens there. Various researchers have concluded that bullying is the most common form of violence affecting millions of American children and adolescents each year. It's not just adolescents. Adults, elderly people. 1 out of 4 students, 22%, report being bullied through the school year. Targets of bullying are more likely to acquire physical, emotional, and learning problems. Students who are repeatedly bullied often fear such activities such as riding the bus, going to school, attending community activities. Children who engage in bullying behavior are at risk for academic problems, substance abuse, violent behavior later in adolescence and adulthood. Children who are witness bullying often feel less secure, more fearful, and intimidated. Now, therefore, be it resolved that upon behalf of the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders and the residents of Sussex County, we recognize and proclaim Wednesday, October 18th, 2017, as Taking Flight to Change Day, encouraging all citizens to support this year's theme, Never Underestimate the Power of One, by supporting the adolescents working to effect change in their communities after attending the annual Middle School Anti-Bullying Summit. We are grateful for the work done by the Center of Prevention and the Center of Prevention and Counseling's Coalition for Health and Safe Communities over the last 16 years in organizing and hosting the annual summit for all Sussex County middle schools by inviting over 1,100 youth each year to this proactive and empowering initiative that engages youth to help create nonviolent school environment for all students. By order of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, Carl F. Lazaro, Director, Jonathan Rose, Deputy Director, Philip Crabb, Sylvia Patel, George Graham, Freeholders. Becky is very appropriate. You know, everything is relative. It really is. And I see it by working so much with human services. One thing creates another problem. Another thing creates worsening of that problem. We're engaged right now in nothing less than a war on abuse. Not just physical abuse, but drug abuse. And it's that little hiding mechanism. I'll hide from my problems by taking something that will have me escape. And it gets worse, and it gets worse, and it gets worse. If we have a more accepting society, maybe that will change. Maybe it will lessen. I'm very upset right now because I am overwhelmed with and this is taking us off topic a little bit, of the opiate problem that we have in Sussex County. And part of it comes from this. And I listened to our human services, that how one problem begets another problem. And we have to let people know that they can find help early in their struggles, whether the struggle be mental illness or bullying. Recently, a young lady committed suicide because of the bullying somebody that I knew. We can't just sweep it under the carpet, and we also can't just, tough it out, not all John Waynes and everything's going to work out great. So we have to find a way of allowing people to know that their help is available. And I think this may go more into it. So I hope I didn't take us too far off the topic. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Is there anything else? Want to take a picture? Do you know this lady here? You want to properly introduce first? Or? Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Tina. Oh, sorry.
And we do
gotta
invite,
take-
thank you, and we do invite, thank you, we invite all of you and anybody in the community that wants to come. It's at Sparta High School because tech is being renovated this year, so we're not able to have it there, so we can actually have 989 kids there instead of 1,100, because that's how many seats they have, and we're filling every single
Fix
one.
that. We can't fix that.
Oh, I agree. So next year we'll be back at tech, but anybody's invited to come on Wednesday, anytime between 9:30 and 2. It's an incredible experience, and it's very motivating and empowering to see kids, affecting change. So thank you.
Proclamation recognizing October as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Presentation by Phil Pratt.
Will Tracy join, please? March to the county parade Saturday, so long as they get disaster areas. Tracy, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Breast cancer awareness. I stood up here to present this in previous years. It's all about awareness. It's all about getting awareness out to the public, like what our health department does and the nursing staff does. With regards to detection and prevention, well, I should say prevention and detection, and the opportunity to get quick treatment. We put all those together, and if we can get the word out to those who we may just assume would understand what the risks are, it's the second highest cause of death for women, and the risk of it increases as you get older. If we can get awareness out there with regards to detection and, if necessary, treatment, we can change outcomes. And that's really what we're looking for here. My family has been hit with this. Luckily, through radical surgery, they were cured. But this is something that I think at the end of the day, if we get the word out there like we're doing now, to get people to perhaps motivate them to just check themselves or to get a doctor to check them out, I think that we can have a chance to change these outcomes. To that end, the resolution reads, whereas breast cancer is a serious health threat to women and men across Sussex County, the state of New Jersey, and our nation, and whereas breast cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in women, and the risk increases with age, and whereas breast cancer is typically detected either during a screening examination before symptoms have developed or after symptoms have developed when a woman or a man notices a change in their breasts. And whereas screening, early detection, and prompt treatment can significantly reduce the suffering and deaths caused by this disease. And whereas increasing public awareness of this disease, including risk factors, and symptoms will help save the lives of women and men as they learn to recognize the warning signs. And whereas Sussex County Division of Health, Sussex Warren Chronic Disease Coalition, and New Jersey Cancer Education and Early Detection New Jersey Seed Program collaboratively promote National Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Susan G. Komen's Tie a Ribbon campaign throughout the month of October. Now therefore be it resolved that the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders does hereby recognize the month of October 2017 as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Sussex County. By order of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, Carl F. Lazaro, Director, Jonathan Rose, Deputy, Philip R. Crabb, George Graham, and Sylvia Patillo, Freeholders, so say we all.
I would just like to say that 1 in 8 women, approximately 1 in 8 women in the United States, will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. So we encourage everyone to, early detection is key. Please get your mammograms, please get your breast cancer screenings, and thank you very much on behalf of the community. I would like to thank you.
Well done. Well done. I think you missed it.
Oh, sure.
You look great next to me. Well done.
Okay. Commission recognizing October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Excuse me. Mr. Freeholder Deputy Director Rose.
Thank you for coming. We have a proclamation. Whereas October 2017 is set aside as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month for the purpose of breaking the cycle of violence that takes the lives of 3 women in the United States every day, and engaging the help of all Americans to support local efforts for victims. And whereas home should be a place of warmth, unconditional love, tranquility, and security, and for many of us, home and family can indeed be counted among our greatest blessings. Tragically, for many residents of Sussex County, these are blessings which are tarnished by violence and fear. And whereas, in Sussex County, there are approximately 1,000 domestic violence offenses annually reported by police, almost 1,000 victims served by the victim organizations, and over 50 families sheltered each year in the Emergency Safe House. And whereas, although women are most frequently the targets, young children, men, and elderly are also counted among the victims of abuse, and sadly suffer physical injury and emotional scars that are often permanent. Prevention efforts have increased and will continue to expand throughout Sussex County in an effort to eradicate this serious crime. And whereas, many organizations in Sussex County directly confront this issue on a daily basis, including law enforcement, the court system, victim and offender, service providers, health and mental health care providers, the clergy, schools, and human service organizations. And whereas, Domestic Abuse and Sexual Intervention Services, DAISY, is the private nonprofit agency that has served the needs of Sussex County for the past 32 years as the county's primary resources for victims and survivors of domestic and sexual violence. Now therefore, we the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders do hereby commend DAISY for the significant progress they have made in offering hope and safety and protecting victims and their families from domestic violence. Further, we acknowledge their life-saving efforts to shelter survivors, advocate for their rights, and stand with them as they work towards their future independence. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Chosen Freeholders hereby proclaims the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. By order of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, Carl F. Lazaro, Director, Jonathan Rose, Deputy Director, Philip R. Crabb, George F. Graham, Sylvia Patillo, Freeholders. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I'm Jamie Bernard. I'm the Executive Director at DAISY. And if I can take a minute before talking about domestic violence, I just want to talk about the connections that I have with my Health and Human Services colleagues here today. Many young boys who bully grow up to be domestic violence offenders. So thank you, Becky, and taking Flight for Change for your prevention work there. And I'm a breast cancer survivor, so thank you for getting the awareness out. I am a poster child for early detection. I was diagnosed at a routine mammogram with triple negative breast cancer, which is a very aggressive cancer, and it was only like this big, so less than a pencil eraser. So it saved my life. And as for domestic violence, Yes, we have this problem in Sussex County, and many people are very surprised to hear that.
It's a hidden problem, right?
It is often a hidden problem, and we have a hidden shelter for people who are not safe in their own homes, for women and children not safe in their own homes who do have to flee. We have quite a few people there right now. And one of the things I would like to mention is a trend that we're seeing, which is really, really troubling, which is high risk, very dangerous physical violence, in addition to harassment, financial abuse, and emotional abuse, and psychological abuse. We see all of that all the time. We're seeing trends in a much more violent abuser and much more dangerous situations. So I do want to thank the county for your support of our programs, numerous programs actually that we get county support from. And during Domestic Violence Month, we just are trying to raise awareness of this issue as well.
Well, thank you for all the work that you do, Daisy. I really appreciate it.
Excuse me, just, don't you have something on the 23rd?
Oh, yeah, on the 19th, because you're going to be there, right?
I'm glad you said the 19th.
I did, and I forgot my pointers.
I'll be changing that to the 19th.
October 19th, yes, we have our annual candlelight vigil, which is in honor of those who have died as a result of domestic violence, to support survivors who are still challenged by it, and to celebrate those people who have managed to get free of domestic violence. And we have a really special feature this year. One of our groups that we run at our agency is a group of domestic and sexual violence survivors who have been attending a poetry workshop for 6 months now, I think. And they've written an anthology, and it's being published, and we are going to be having a book release on the 19th. And we just got it today, and it is a really, really beautiful book. So we're very, very excited about that.
And where, what time?
Oh, sorry, it's at Newton Medical Center at 6 o'clock.
And the public is invited?
Yep, and the Romano
So
Center.
you all have to be there.
Yes, please come. Thank you. I get a picture? Thank you. Thank you.
Public hearings, we have none. Public session from the floor. Please note, everyone is asked to keep their comments to 5 minutes or less. Address items and issues regarding agenda items. Please state your name, spell your last name, state your municipal residency. Do I have a motion to open the floor for public session?
Director, we have to take a vote on the proclamations.
We did that, we didn't do that in the beginning?
No.
Okay, all right, we'll go back and do a vote on that.
Motion to approve the
A
proclamation.
motion to approve the proclamations. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Graham. Is there a discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Then a motion to open the floor for public session.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Freeholder Rose. Is there a second?
Second.
Second Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Floor is open. Yes, sir.
Okay, it's about the appointments on page 5. Is that okay now?
Sure.
I turned in some...
Who are you? Never saw you before.
Harry Dunleavy, Augusta, Frankfurt Township. And D-U-N-L-E-A-V-Y. And I turned in some documents. I don't know if you've had a chance to peruse them or not, but you can see them. You did. And did you have a chance to look at them? Did. Okay, it's about the reappointment of Jared Cofrancesco. I am hereby imploring the Freeholder Board to think carefully before reappointing Jared Cofrancesco to another term at the Sussex County Technical Schools Board. He is president of a board which oversees a failing school where only 20% of the students, the second worst in the county, were able to pass the low-level PART test. In fact, 2 young ladies raised a question last night regarding the school at the candidates' debate in Ogdensburg. For reasons which he has monotonically refused to answer, he blacklisted me from doing substitute work at the school. I'm speaking as a former president of that board, and if the New Jersey Herald is to be believed, I did a good job in extricating the district from the red into the black. I was the only board member who voted against the firing of a teacher because the vice principal didn't like him, who later went on to be Teacher of the Year in Rockaway, and that cost the board $250,000 in back pay damages. I'm also speaking as a licensed mathematics teacher who later worked for that board, first as a volunteer and later as a part-time mathematics teacher at the Juvenile Center, where I was regarded as an excellent mathematics teacher, which you could have seen when I handed in today. In fact, the former superintendent, Mark Troback, I think he's Dr. Mark Troback actually, came over to speak with me at the Juvenile Center and offered a full-time position at the technical school. I was unable to consider the position at that time as I owned and operated 2 apartment buildings. My evaluation as a college mathematics teacher is not measurably different, with one student at SCCC stating in his evaluation, an excellent teacher who makes learning calculus seem elementary. I would also like to mention that I also did volunteer work at Waterloo Village for a few years in the past, where I instructed homeless young people in mathematics at 3 levels. Yet I have been blacklisted from doing substitute work at the technical school, and there is no reason whatsoever listed on my record there. Try as I might, Mr. Francesco refuses to proffer a reason and has the board attorney run the meetings for him. Holding meetings at 4:30 p.m. is another issue which needs attention, and there is no reason to believe that this isn't being done to obviate the presence of the public because of the poor academic performance of the school as the second worst in the county in mathematics. Mr. Francesco's actions towards me has been totally disrespectful. If he had reasons, he should be man enough to state them, but he keeps his filth hidden. Your attention to this impairing situation regarding the academic standards at the school and the discrimination on the part of Mr. Francesco would be appreciated in light of the aforementioned. And thank you for your time. And if anyone has any questions, of course I'll answer them, but probably don't have. But I would like you to carefully reconsider before you reappoint him.
Any other comments?
John Snyder, Sanderson Township, SNY. I have a question on some of the items here. 10B, you're purchasing vehicles from either buyer or Bayer Ford. Where they're located?
Where Buyer Ford is located? I don't know if I know where Buyer Ford is located.
I've never heard of them, so. Lowest bid, I guess, that's the reason.
I think it's a contract.
And, yeah, so it's talking. Items 10K through N, keep using the phrase additional award. I don't understand what that means.
K through M. I understand what?
Where each one talks about an additional award of a certain amount of money. I'm not sure what additional award means, if that's money that we receive from some other state or
Yes,
something.
they're grants that are coming into us.
Can I just, what happens is often, somebody can correct me, but often what happens is the pool of money that's used, and then at the end of the year, how that money is used or hasn't been used in other jurisdictions can come back and the pool actually expands a bit. And so there can be extra funds. We find that with municipal alliances and such, most of it's passed through money that block grants. So it's actually extra money that comes through the county to the service providers. It's not tax money from us.
And it's from the state, federal, or combination?
Well, usually it's state, but it's usually how it's done.
And 14A. Well, this is the paving, around $8 million.
We're gonna get into that.
Just wondering how many bids are there?
Oh, that's a series of road projects, a whole list of them, and we're gonna have a presentation on that, so you'll get to see the whole package on that. There is a lot to be done there.
And I see also on 10C, excuse me, there's another, this is hardware and software, last month it was software.
Where are you?
Up to $250,000 between the two. This is Aspire Technology.
Which one? Which one?
10C.
10C.
These are capital upgrades. These are upgrades in our entire information services. So that could be in anywhere. Am I right, correct? Correct. This is, could be in this office, could be in Wheatsworth, could be, it's
This
an
is Division of
overall,
Information Services.
that's our internal.
Information technology.
Do you have any idea how often this happens?
Yeah, that's what we discussed.
What the update is? Is it?
That's what we discussed at the last meeting to try to coordinate these annual contracts. This looks like a support included with this thing too, to try to align them at the same time. Because we run into just exactly what we do now. We've got an out last month that looks very similar written out to us. This one, it's completely different, but I've been trying to get that aligned for 10 years.
And I have a question. Have any idea when the Veterans Day ceremony is going to be this year?
Yes, November 17th. It's part of my report.
The parade? November 5th.
November 5th?
Fifth.
It's earlier.
November 5th.
It's early this year.
It's up, it's.
It was on here.
it's always the 5th, it's on-
November 5th.
Okay, thank you.
It's still gonna be at the fairgrounds, right?
Oh, it's the 17th annual, that's why it's 17th.
Yeah. November 5th at 1 o'clock.
November 5th.
Any other comments?
Motion closed.
Motion to close the Freeholder Graham. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second Freeholder Rose. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Approval of the consent agenda. A, resolution reapproving the grant application with the state of New Jersey for the Victims Crime Act. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped over that. All right. Freeholder comments.
Nobody needs to hear us talk.
Freeholder credit. What?
Nobody needs to hear us talk.
Just very briefly, just what I'm sure that the rest of my colleagues will remark on too, that I had the honor to march in my 34th county parade on Saturday. I'm still suffering from it, as you saw me walking in. It was one of the better days. It was one of the better organized parades. It was I parked here, so I would be near the end and hoping I would get a ride to Merriam School. I didn't, so I walked from here to Merriam School, just in the parade to walk all the way back again, which I've done before. But it's one of the nicer routes. There's really no downhill. There's really no uphill to it. But it was the downhill on Moran Street, like after the review thing, that killed my feet because you're going down like that. So I leave things like hose laying to the younger kids, and I hobbled my way back up. But it was a great day, and it really does display what is unique to this county, in that every emergency responder is a volunteer still. And if they weren't, even if we just had one per municipality, it would blow any municipal budget out. So we really rely on them, and maybe even take them for granted at some point, especially since they have to have their own full-time jobs, but get the same training as what Fire Department New York gets. And it's applied up here. I don't know if you've been following along lately. There's been quite a few structure fires here. There was one rescue. There was an entrapment up in Vernon Sunday. They got him out. And it's all done with volunteers, the people that you walk the same sidewalks with. So I was very proud to again march in that parade. I'm still not at the point that I'm going to be riding vehicles yet, as some of the old timers. I'd like to mention good old Eddie Midland, 91, marched the entire route, as he did last year, and we have every expectation that he'll march with us next year too. But congratulations to all the participants and to Newton for putting on a good parade. That's all.
First of all, point out that we have a very strong showing by our Health and Human Services department over there. And I want to read off some of the things that are going on. First of all, there are still flu and pneumonia clinics going on. October 18th, 2017 at Door Labs from 4:30 to 6:30. October 20th, 10:30 to noon at the Franklin Nutrition Site. Beginning on October the 23rd through the months of November and through February of 2018, Sussex County Public Health Nursing Office at 201 Wheatsworth Road in Hamburg will be open for flu and pneumonia shots from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Mondays and Thursdays. This is very important, and no appointment is needed. So it's something that I'll keep saying at every meeting, but it's something that should be considered. There's a caregiver expo tomorrow at the farmstead for those who are caregivers for their elderly parents or children in need or spouses. Sometimes you need help and sometimes you need direction, and I've gone to these caregiver expos and they're very helpful. Division of Senior Services open enrollment Medicare Part D prescription drug plans. Open enrollment for Part D prescription drug plans runs October the 15th through December the 7th of 2017. We provide assistance in trying to make that decision. We do it on a basis of volunteers, actually senior volunteers, actually to provide this. And it's very, start screening through there, it's very difficult. I know nobody in the room is over 65, but I'm sure that if you do know somebody over that age, maybe you might want to let them know. Presentations. There's a presentation on Friday, October the 13th, 2017, in keeping in with breast cancer awareness at the Franklin Walmart from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on breast cancer awareness. Very important, and somebody doesn't, I'm not sure they should do that. As I said, we have the screenings. You can speak to anybody, Health and Human Services, regarding the Medicare assistance. And then, this is why I messed up on the 17th. It's the 17th annual Salute to Military Veterans on November the 5th, 2017 at 1 p.m. And I understand it's supposed to be a warm, sunny day.
I put in the request, so.
You haven't used them all yet?
Yeah, but you put in a request a couple of years ago. And you really need to change how you word your requests. Office of Mosquito Control. I want to talk about this just for a moment because so many people ask, what does the health department do? Where are we involved? Why is it important that we have a county-wide health department? Office of Mosquito Control submitted 90 mosquito pools for testing in the month of September. Of those pools, 28 tested positive for West Nile virus. I've known people that have had illnesses like cancer that have not gone through as much discomfort as when they've gotten West Nile virus. It's a very important thing that we do here. A total of 259 pools with 35 positive West Nile virus pools in 2017. It's a lot of hits. The health department gets in front of this, gets into spraying. I know we've had discussions in the past about certain people being notified about the spraying and how it's being done. We have tightened up on that, but we're going to establish a policy through the municipality. Is that correct, Mr. Paul?
We've reached out to all of the mayors requesting their assistance to get notifications out in addition to all the notifications the county does, yes.
We have another little problem, and that is we're all getting bombarded with junk phone calls. This is a very serious problem. I mean, I sat home and worked at home one day and I got 22 junk phone calls. I don't know 22 people that were going to call me, so I know that they were junk, coming from 804s and 709s and area codes I never heard of before. And on my phone bill, it said that 7 of them came from Russia. Don't want to talk about Russia. But this is a problem, because if we're doing a callback, if we're using an Nixle system or a system that's calling back into your households, you're still not going to find out. So we have to find out, in this new age of technology, how can we reach out and make people aware of what's going on in the neighborhood. So if anybody has any smart ideas, Carol Knobber is willing to take it. I didn't mean that as sarcasm. I just know that she always has a pad and a paper. She always has it. Among those communicable diseases, okay, from September the 19th through September the 30th, this says 31st, there were 65 reportable diseases diagnosed in Sussex County. Among those were Lyme disease, 38. Another disease I can't pronounce. Hepatitis C, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and a whole bunch of others that I can't pronounce. But the health department can. And our new health, what's your exact title is going to be?
Division Director, Health Officer.
Division Director, Health Officer. He stays up nights keeping an eye on this and examining what we're doing, where it is, and plotting out how we have to approach it. And he's a very smart guy, and I'm very impressed that he's here. One more thing here, Division of Social Services. Division of Social Services registered the following number of cases during the month of September. 41 temporary assistance for needy families, 65 general assistance, 185 New Jersey Family Care new applications, administrative renewals, 201 supplemental nutrition SNAP, formerly known as food stamps, 280 online applications, 171 existing SNAP, TANF, GA cases processed for redetermination, 504 existing New Jersey Family Care cases pressed for redetermination, 1,447 total cases processed in September. Why did I read that list? I read that list because you can go over to the Cochran House, you can go in the back, you can look in the window, and you can see a bunch of people working. That's what they are doing. Nobody over there is making a ton of money, they're making a living. But they are keeping aware and keeping the people that are most in need cared for, and making sure that all of their information is handled properly, speedily, and confidentially. And it's no easy task. It is no easy task. I just want to applaud the Health and Human Services for what they do, and I want to thank you very much. That's my...
Thank you.
Nothing, Mr. Chair.
Most of what I have is going to be handled later on, so I'm not going to go through all the stuff in engineering. We're going to hear about that later. There's a lot of good things going on, a lot of things that have been done all year long. Resurfacing program has been ongoing. There's been a striping program that's been ongoing through the summer. Mowing of the sides, all the things that we so often take for granted are quietly and slowly and every day getting done. They're getting done. The drains are being filled out. They're being sucked out of all the grits and things. None of that stuff can be put away. It has to be disposed of according to federal and state guidelines. It's a big process. And the road department is on it and does it on a regular basis. The engineering department is behind everything that goes on there. And they are constantly at work making your life easier as you move around the county to and from the places that you go. I also want to make comment on the Fireman's Parade this weekend. I took one look at the route and got smart. I've never seen the parade. I've been involved in it in 15 years. I've never seen it. I've always been in the middle of it. So I stood in the reviewing stand and I had to walk all over the place. I had a car that was created, made the year I was born, 1970, and I got to ride in that to my location. But I got to watch everybody, men and women of all ages, volunteering in the fire and EMS service, coming down past the reviewing stand, and to see the pride that each company had for itself. And a special commendation to the Newton Fire Company. They did an outstanding job of putting this together and making it work. It's an awesome task. I've never seen anybody who has done it say, let me do it again next year. 2036. 2036. It rotates around communities, and it is a monumental task. The trophies, the judging, lineup, it's endless. This is a lot of work done, and it's a day of pride. We had a beautiful day, the sunshine, and I think everybody had a marvelous time and enjoyed the camaraderie and the fellowship together with everything. So that was a great opportunity to share. Let's see, what else do I have? That's all. The rest of the engineering stuff will come later on, so I'll be done with that. Okay, so we can move on to the consent agenda. Is that okay now? Oh, great, good, okay. Resolution A, approving grant application with the state of New Jersey for the Victims of Crime Act, VOCA Victim Assistance Project, administered by the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, Division of Criminal Justice, Office of Victim Witness Advocacy, V85-15, for the period of July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018, in the amount of $203,363 state share and a $50,841 in-kind match. That's a grant for victim assistance. That's a grant that we're fortunate to get every year, and we have a small match with it. Resolution authorizing provide for the purchase of 2 vehicles from Bayer Ford for the Office of Sussex County Prosecutor in the amount of $55,575.22. That's a bid project, so we take lowest bid. Resolution reauthorization to provide for the purchase of computer hardware and software support from Aspire Technology Partners LLC in the amount of $109,019.05 required by the Division of Information Services. Authorization for the County of Sussex to submit an area plan grant agreement, DOAS 188AA003, with the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Aging Services, in the amount of $1,538,843 for the period of January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018, for the delivery of social and nutritional services for older persons under the Older Americans Act. That's a grant for providing food services and nutritional services for seniors. Authorizing the Board of Chosen Freeholders to accept award of the federal fiscal year 2017 Homeland Security Grant Program funding in the amount of $168,182.33 for emergency preparedness capabilities. So this is reimbursement for funds already expended in Homeland Security. Authorizing the acquisition of easements for the rehabilitation of Bridge X11, County Route 639 over Neapolitating Creek, Wantage Township, and maintenance and operation of Bridge X12, Newton Avenue over in Neapolitating Creek, Wantage Township, in the amount of $13,500. That's self-explanatory. Authorization to extend agreement for services provided by Cersei Dynex Corporation for 1-year period, November 1st, 2017, October 31st, 2018, in the amount of $24,370 for those services to be utilized at the Sussex County Library System. Authorizing the Freeholder Director of Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders to execute the 2017-18 October 1st, 2017 to September 30th, 2018 Title 4D reimbursement agreement between the Sussex County Sheriff's Office and the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Family Development, in the amount of $131,461. A resolution rescinding the contract with Freedom House, Inc., allocating $50,000 of Chapter 51 funds for the provision of male halfway house services for the period of January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017. Resolution authorizing contract modification number 1 with Turning Point Anderson House for the provision of female halfway house services for a reduction of $6,700 for a total modified contract amount of $3,300 for the calendar year January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017. Both of those were modifications of existing grants. Authorizing contract modification with DAISY, Domestic Abuse and Sexual Assault Intervention Services, for the provision of recovery support services for an additional award of $9,404 for a total modified contract amount of $29,763 for a period of January 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2018. Those are additional funds that were available that we were fortunate to receive. Authorizing the contract modification number 1 with the Center for Prevention and Counseling for the provision of recovery support services for an additional award of $9,403 for a total modified contract amount of $43,109 through the calendar year January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017. Authorizing contract modification number 1 with the Center for Prevention of Counseling and Counseling for the provision of adult substance abuse treatment services for an additional award of $19,583 for a total modified contract amount of $85,000 for the calendar year January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017. Again, both of those are modification of existing grants. A resolution reauthorizing contract modification number 1 with Capital Care, Inc. for the provision of adult substance abuse treatment services for an additional award of $18,310 for a total modified contract amount of $44,106 for the calendar year January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017. And number O, which is added onto our resolution list, resolution re the release of closed session minutes from September 27, 2017. Those are the consent agenda. The Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of the said resolution is in and will further the public interest. Do I have a motion to approve?
Director,
Yes.
I'd like to consider O separately.
Okay.
This is the-
So then we'll be voting on
Like to make a-
8.
Sorry, to make a motion to approve items A through N.
Second.
Okay, we're approving items A through N. We have a motion by Freeholder Rose and a second by Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion? All in favor?
I think it's a roll call.
Or which is the motion to amend?
No, we're just taking this separately, that he
Okay,
made,
all right.
he made the motion.
Okay,
to go
call the
forward.
roll.
Freeholder Brad?
Yes.
Brad? Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazare?
Yes. Okay, now we'll take resolution O.
Make a motion to approve item O.
A motion by Freeholder Rose to approve O.
I'll second.
Second by Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion?
Yeah, I haven't seen this until it's just handed to me here now. It wasn't part of any discussion. I guess I'd like to ask why we're releasing these minutes and not any other executive session minutes.
There appears to be significant interest in these items.
Boxer, I'm sure, has a lot of interest.
The minutes, the closed session minutes for Box you're referring to.
Yeah, I'm sure any executive session, why, if that's all for transparency, but not for transparency,
The items that
that's cherry picked.
The items that Mr. Boxer were involved in are not closed yet. This item is closed and the Freeholder Board has approved a settlement with the other parties.
Yeah, well, I'm, like I said, I'm not understanding why we're motivated to release these now when we haven't released any other executive session minutes.
This is closed.
And there's no other executive session minutes?
We can go through them, we can do them.
This is what my concern is. I mean,
If there are other items that have been closed, we should release those
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
but,
We're holding back on
no, but we're really pushing this thing through.
it.
Oh, I didn't even see it. I wasn't
I
part
didn't see it
of
either.
any
It just
discussion.
was read to me at the same time.
There had been some discussion to put this up.
It was read here the first time.
Yeah, and, you know, my concern goes back to, even though we passed a resolution, we don't take the executive sessions, not video, not audio. We don't do that. Ever since that, I can't remember in the minutes when we've released executive session minutes at all. But here, we've got a resolution that pops up at the meeting to release these.
Mr. Williams, what is our current policy on releasing items from executive session? Is it in our?
I think the only other, but there are different types. There are legal, there are contract negotiations, ongoing contract negotiations, which we don't release those because they have strategies and long-term effects on those. I don't think we've held back at anything. Everything that had to do with solar we released. There were some things that are still regarding the commission officer that are not resolved yet. And I think that's why those haven't been released. I don't remember us holding back on them.
My concern is just that
Session.
this is the first meeting that I've been at, that there's been a resolution that's been plunked down at the meeting to release a specific executive session. Best case, I think it's a little clumsy because I had no knowledge of it.
Would you have an
Worst
objection?
case, worst case, I fear it may be political. So, I'm not sure what we're doing here. I'm not sure why we're doing this now. But we haven't done any other executive session. And that's my question.
There was a resolution regarding the solar executive sessions for blanket release, but that only related to the executive sessions that were part of the solar settlement.
Were those
So-
released?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they're all out. Yeah, they're all out. That was
So that
some
would
time
matter,
ago
of
now.
course.
But after that, there's no default resolution for release, so the only thing that would apply would be the Oprah analysis to the individual executive session.
And all that, we all discussed that. This is not a matter, of course, when it's plunked on the days.
If a citizen were to request items from a closed session, would it be evaluated? How would that be evaluated? Say, in this case where the items were closed, would a citizen generally have access to those, or would it be some other legal analysis?
Well, generally speaking, it would be an Oprah analysis, and the Oprah would work to be default to disclose unless an exception applies. The two that come to mind in this case would be attorney-client, if it's still applicable or necessary, and then also the a pending decision. I forgot the exact title now, but it's advisory consultant and deliberative. But that lifts when the decision is made.
This resolution contemplates a 72-hour review and redaction by county council, and I assume you could use the same analysis that you use from Oprah release for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I would assume that this means release for Oprah request, because it doesn't direct it to anyone, so,
Right.
yeah, so what you're saying is that if there were an Oprah request, there may have been one already by the press, I'm not sure, but that it would be released, so, and yeah, the same type of analysis, would occur. It would not occur by me, so I don't think we need to specifically indicate co-counsel or assistant county counsel, but I'm recused out of this case. It would be someone in my office that would do the analysis. It would effectively be one that occurs under Oprah.
My concern is that we're doing this à la carte. And I'm sure that there's interest in a lot of other executive sessions. That's what I got to say.
Anything else? Call roll.
Freeholder Crab?
No.
Freeholder Brown?
Yes.
Freeholder Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazaro?
Yes. Approval of minutes, regular meeting, September 27th, 2017. I have a motion. Please note that the date is changed. That was a typo. It's the 27th and not the 30th. Is there a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of September 27th?
So moved.
By Freeholder Crab.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Rose. Is there discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
Abstain
One abstention.
on the regular.
Executive session meeting of September 27th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion Freeholder Crab, a second Freeholder Rose. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Appointments and/or resignations. I hand these as a group. Yeah, let's do them one at a time. Resolution reappointing James R. McDonald III, MS, as health officer to provide local public health services for the county of Sussex. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Freeholder Graham, second by Freeholder Rose. Is there discussion?
Yes. Can I take a couple of liberties and allow Mr. McDonald to say something?
I'll flip you for it.
Flip me or... The wording was very important in that sentence. Mr. McDonald's been working for the county for how many years?
27.
And how many years have you been in the profession you're in right now? 27?
27, right out of
27
college.
years. Okay. He's come through a lot of different health officers, health directors. You've watched the health department move in one direction or the other. Would you mind just giving us a very short synopsis of what you think and where we think we're going?
Thank you. I just
Hold
want
on, please, Jim.
Yeah.
we need you on the mic.
It has been a very long and interesting trip with respect to my career at the health department.
You think it was a trip before?
Just beginning.
I've watched a lot of, I want to say, ebbs, tides, rises, and sinks with the division and the department over the years. I think we've got a great group of people that are working for us right now. I appreciate the support that I've seen this year from Freeholder North, in years past as well, from my department administrator, from the county administrator. The work that our staff does is amazing. There's the expanse, no one really knows. Everybody just thinks it's septics and foods, and there's so much more that community health, health education, our nurses, our inspectors, mosquito control, weights and measures, they're out there every day, basically trying to protect and promote public health. So I want to thank them for the work that they do, and just say that going forward, I'm excited to see where we can improve and provide those services to the community.
Mr. McDonald is a man of few words, so I'm going to throw a couple more words to push him to say something. Since the beginning of the year, we've had some questions from municipalities and some challenges in the delivery of our service and the communication of those services. Have those improved, and do you see something improving even further from there?
I feel that there's always room for improvement, and the first step in that is just if somebody sees that we can improve, by all means, offer that suggestion, and we'll definitely take it for consideration.
You have a monthly call-in, don't you?
We do. So we reach out to each of our municipalities. We pick some topics. Which basically might be for this past one, so breast cancer awareness month. We talked about World Stroke Day, and as well as a program that we're working with our community schools, the high schools. It's basically the smoke-free hands. So there's a lot of vaping and smoking that's going on school properties. So we're working with our high schools to try to reduce that and just promote no smoking on school grounds. So we have these calls pretty much every week. We invite our communities to call in, the mayors, other elected officials, the board of health secretaries, and business administrators of the clerks. So we've got some good replies back, but there's another round that we can do it. We've been trying to get all reports out electronically to all the municipalities. We've had some difficulties with some of the reports because the files are so large that they keep getting bounced back. So we're looking to see if we can improve those so that they also get a hard copy, which is delivered to them, but then they also have an electronic copy.
We have an IT guy. I think probably would be able to help with that. One other question. What does customer service mean to you?
Customer service.
Customer service.
Oh, customer service. As we say, the customer's always right, provided we comply with the regulations. So it's just a polite way. It's a polite way to. We basically need to educate them. Sometimes we do have to say no, And it's just a matter of how you present that information.
And it's for our health.
Correct. Everything we do is for public health and to protect the environment. So if we're not explaining that to you, we need to take a step back, take a breath, and then approach it from a different angle so that everybody can understand why we do what we do.
Well, I personally am very proud that you're here. Thank you very much. And I'm very grateful is the word I've really been saying.
I'm extremely
Very grateful that you're here.
What goes around comes around. My turn now. I've known this young man for about 15, 20 years.
At least.
And
I'm so sorry. He would come into the Rotary booth at the fair, which I was always operating, and do his inspections. And everybody was in terror, intimidated. Tom was coming in with his pen and paper, and I got to know him over the years there. And he did an outstanding job at his inspections. I almost always passed. But I think the most telling thing was the day another vendor nearby failed, and he came over and to us and said, "Did you guys pass?" And I said, "Yeah, we passed." Well, I said, "No, he didn't pass." But he was very nice about it. And I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, we told me how to do this, this, and this." I said, "Well, get it done. If you need any help, we'll help you get it done." He got it done, and he called him back, and he went over and he passed me. He says, "The guy's really pretty nice." I said, "Well, he's from Sussex County. What do you expect?" Fire department work. For years at the Branchville clam bake and chicken dinner. He always tried to give me the piece of chicken I didn't want. But he always made sure I had all the clams I wanted. He works hard in the community as a hazmat. The man knows his stuff. He does a good job wherever he does it. And I couldn't be more delighted to be sitting here to say congratulations and put the stamp of approval on what you've done and where you go and the work that you've done. You have a good history behind you. You've done a marvelous job, and I couldn't be more proud of you and be proud to know you. Thank you very, very much for giving such a great service to Sussex County. We appreciate it.
Just to make one thing, it's not just an appointment. This isn't just because he's got a nice face. Turn around. In the last year or so, Mr. McDonald has had to also improve his education in order to get to where he is, because he had 27 years of experience, but he went back to school and he put in. So this isn't just an appointment. This is an appointment that is well deserved, and I respect you for doing it.
Yeah, Mr. Director, if I may, I just wanted to follow up on Freeholder Graham's comments, because I have a little bit of a different perspective when dealing with public health staff and particularly health officers. What the board may not be aware of, and certainly the public would not necessarily know this, the licensing examination for a New Jersey State Health Officer is one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult, license examination to sit for. And Jim did it really without much issue, which is really quite the exception in terms of individuals with his education and experience to sit and be able to move through that examination without really any difficulty whatsoever. And I've had the pleasure of working with 5 licensed health officers over the course of my career, and I have found consistently that health officers are extremely intelligent. They bring a level of professionalism to not only their organization, but the local governments and counties that they serve. And certainly in the time that I've been with the county, Jim McDonald is no exception to that. His approach to conducting his work is extremely professional. He's done a number of things since I've been here as administrator, taking his staff through customer service training, improving upon the communications with the local governments, of which Jim is responsible for all 24. And remember that it is his license that's on the line as our staff goes out and provides for the public health standards as required by the state of New Jersey. So the responsibility that Jim has is very great, and I know that it's one that he takes quite seriously. So I'm looking forward to working with Jim in his capacity as the county's health officer. I would wish him all the best, but he certainly doesn't need it because he's doing a fine job. And I share the Freeholders' comments and feelings that Jim is certainly very well suited to serve as the county's next health officer. Thank you.
You live up to all that?
Yes, sir.
Good luck. Welcome aboard. Thank you. Want to call the roll on it, please?
Freeholder Graham, I'm sorry, Freeholder Craft.
You get mixed up.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham,
Yes.
Freeholder Rose,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazaro.
Yes. Resolution 2, reappointment of Jared C. Cofrancisco to the Board of Education of the Sussex County Educational Technical School for a term of 4 years, term to begin November 1st, 2017, and expire on December 31st, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Freeholder
I'll
Graham, second by Freeholder Rose. Is there discussion? Call roll, please.
Freeholder Craft,
Yes.
Freeholder Graham,
Yes.
Freeholder Rose,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazaro.
Yes. Resolution 3, reappointment of Brian Houto as a member of the Sussex County Agriculture Development Board for a 3-year term effective immediately and expiring on September 30th, 2020. And do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion Freeholder Graham. Is there second?
Second.
Second Freeholder Crab. Is there discussion? I just want to make a point on this particular one. The Agriculture Board has had a couple of resignations of people who have been there for a long time. If anyone knows of anyone who's interested in being a part of that board, it's a very, very important board because they do a lot in terms of what happens in the agriculture in Sussex County, and that's a major part of our county. Please make your suggestions known to the clerk of the board so we can follow up on them. Can you call the roll, please?
Freeholder Craft,
Yes.
Freeholder Graham,
Yes.
Freeholder Rose,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazaro.
Yes. Resolutions, award of contracts, change orders, bid. Resolution re, the award of a contract to Shafano Construction in the amount of $8,002,187.28 for the 2017 Sussex County Road Resurfacing Program with a contract term of date of contract award with a project closeout date on or before December 31st, 2018. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Freeholder Graham. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Crab. Discussion. I guess you would like to
Word discussion.
On discussion?
make a few
Okay.
comments on discussion.
So, as you know, this is,
Who are you? Who are you?
good evening, Bill Cocknell, County Engineer. As you know, this is one of the largest resurfacing projects or programs that the department has put forward in the last couple of years. I guess just a little background, and most of you are already aware of this. Department, county owns and operates 310 center line miles of road, 620 lane miles. The roads are constructed with what is commonly known as a flexible hot mix asphalt. The hot mix asphalt is really, it consists of 4 primary components in the structure of it. You have the wearing surface, the surface course, that's the top that everyone sees when you're driving down the road. And then it has some structural sub-base courses to it, intermediate base course asphalt, and then an aggregate base course. The surface course on an asphalt road is intended to be a replaceable component of that system. Within the county, you know, our roads, the service life that you're going to experience out of the wearing surface is really dependent on the volumes of traffic and class of traffic. Is it taking cars or buses or trucks, and what's the percentage of them? The other component of this is really environmental. The asphalts, organic compounds are subject to oxidation, which over time will result in a hardening of the asphalt matrix, which takes it from a flexible state to a more rigid structure. As that occurs, the wearing surface on it will begin to experience cracking. Cracking will allow the infiltration of water into the matrices. Obviously, with the range of environmental conditions that the county experiences over the course of the year, predominantly a lot of freeze and thaw cycles as the water infiltrates into the pavement structure itself, will cause advanced and accelerated deterioration of the structural capacity of the road box. So one of the things that we do as engineers is we monitor the condition of the surface course so that as it reaches the end of its useful service life, we can replace it. Surface course provides a number of different benefits to the road box itself. Generally, what we've found is that the service life of the wearing surface on the asphalt paving box within Sussex County is 12 to 16 years. Generally, within that time frame, the roadway wearing surface needs to be replaced. The replacement of it consists of traditional milling, so we will mill off the 2.5 inches, which is the surface course. We will replace that with another new 2.5 inch hot mix asphalt surface course. The project, when we put these out to bid, also includes all the maintenance protection of traffic, so the traffic control. I'm sure you've all probably driven through the work zones that we've had around the county, so managing the traffic is a pretty significant issue. And it includes the replacement of all of the pavement markings that are associated with that. So in this particular program, what we put forth is the resurfacing of 36 miles of county roads. It was valued at $8,002,187. Equates out to about $222,000 a mile. Sounds very expensive. It certainly is expensive work to do. If you bring it down at a more tangible level, it's about $13 a square yard. So just in comparison for the type of work we're doing, that's a very competitive number. Probably less than what you can get it for on the private market. Paving driveways, parking lots are generally going to cost you more than this per square yard, and they're going to require a lot or not as much of the oversight and control by the contractor. Traffic control, obviously no pavement markings, and a lot of those instances don't include the milling of the asphalt. This particular project is funded using a couple of years worth of both county capital and state aid. So, as you know, one of the things that the county gets from the state annually are state aid to county grants, funded with the Transportation Trust Fund. This particular project, the funding breakdown is $3,358,710 of county capital. So that's accumulated over about 4 years of county capital, representative of 42% of the project in its entirety. The state aid is 2 years of state aid. It's 2016 and 2017 state aid. In total, that represents $4,643,477, or 58% of the project. The department received bids for this particular project on August 29th. We had 6 contractors respond to the bids. Some of the information that I believe you were distributed earlier includes some summary information from the actual analysis of the bid. Page 5 of the handout shows the analysis of the bids. The low respondent was Shabana Construction. Shabana Construction has historically been very competitive with these projects here in Sussex County, and they've in fact been a low bidder for, you know, a number of years now. Bid prices on it, you know, had a pretty big range on, if you will, back to like a square yard price, anywhere from the low that was Shafana, which was about $12.60, up to a high of about $18.50 a square yard.
You came in under engineer's estimate?
It came in under the engineer's estimate. The engineer's estimate was about $8.1 million. You know, historically, those are developed based on prior experience and bids that we've taken on other similar projects. And one of the things that's included on page 2 is the historic project data. Kind of breaks down by year, showing you generally the scope of the projects, how many miles we've paved over the years, the total value of them, the funding source. So you kind of get an idea of where we're going, where we've been, and you'll notice that the data goes back into the early 2008, 2009 timeframe. And what you'll notice, or what I thought was interesting, is from that point in time, you see a progressive increase in the cost of these programs. So although we've done, you know, programs with less miles in them, some of these have cost us, you know, significantly more on a per unit basis. Largely, you know, this is tied to petroleum pricing and oil, so as that fluctuates the way it does, all of these programs on an annual basis have different variations. This particular project, partially because of the volume of work and the way that we managed is by putting a couple of years worth of funding together, getting a larger project, we were able to secure a little more competitive per unit cost on the work. I think the other interesting thing is on page 6 of the handout, it kind of shows you historically information on the projects that we've done over the years and the breakdown of, you know, county capital and transportation trust fund or other grants. You know, one of these in particular, 2010, part of that project was funded through what we call the ERA initiative. So we did end up with some federal funding in 2010 to help push this forward. One of the reasons that we put forth such a large project was historically based on the 310 miles of road, the roughly average service life of 14 years. You can anticipate that to maintain the level of the condition of the roads in you know, an acceptable state will require resurfacing about 23 miles of road a year. For a number of different reasons, you can see that over the last, until about 2013, we were falling below that target. And one of the things that did was it produced a deficit, if you will. It produced a number of roads that had exceeded their useful or anticipated useful service life. And really the visual evidence of that is the condition state of the roads that you'll notice as you drive around on them. They generally will be reflected with a lot more potholes in them, skin coat patching, cracking, centerline cracking, and things along that line. So this particular project not only addresses part of the annual need, but it also goes you know, a long way to bringing some of the roads that were in a deficit state back up to an acceptable condition state.
But the tier average is still 18.5 miles. So we're still below our 21.
We're still below, but we're making headway on it. It still comes in below.
Well, no,
the 2018 program also puts forth a larger project.
Okay.
I think between the 2015 and the double year of the 2016, we've also, this doesn't necessarily reflect a couple of other projects that we've done.
Okay.
This is only the in-house resurfacing program. So, you know, we've had some of the work that we've recently done in Branchville, and then the other thing that we've done is we have a very aggressive pavement management program that is implemented with the intent of extending useful service life. So right now, our average service life is about 14 years. Through the aggressive program, what we're finding is that we can extend that by 2, 3, 4 years. So it's going to change the 23-mile target. but it will take probably 8 to 10 years to get there.
And I think too, Bill, that much of that deficit, I'm looking at 11 and 12 was due to Hurricane Irene and Tropical Storm Lee, when we had 140 bridges shut down.
Well, it certainly was a reflection on the volume of work that was coming into the department.
And on reallocating.
There was a lot of different things that really impacted this. One of them certainly was the volume of work that came out of the hurricanes.
Do you feel the funding levels are adequate for continued operation of this?
I believe that where we're headed, if we can kind of maintain where we're at now, I think we will be able to manage the system and keep the roads in a good condition state.
We had a balancing act. When I came in 2013, the numbers were down. But just like Freeholder Crab said, there was a sort of reallocation of assets towards all the bridge work that was done, both on your part, on the engineering side, and on the money side. We also had trying to hold the capital budget down, the overall capital budget down. And we try to get it down to a more manageable number. I think the number was well over 12 million. We try to get it down to 10 million to keep control of it.
Yeah,
So,
in the capital budget, though.
yeah, the capital budget. It becomes a balancing act in that. But the thing that really glares at us is when we're seeing lawsuits coming in because of the condition of the road. So it's very important that our roads are safe, or else in the end, the county is paying for it anyway. So I'm glad you inched it up, you and Mr. Graham.
We've inched it up. We've given a lot of, certainly got a lot of support by the Capital Projects Committee in the review of this and the understanding of the importance of it. And I am confident that the efforts and attentions that we've refocused towards the pavement management is making a difference in, the utility and service life of the roads. So one of the other reasons that some of the prior years had lower funding levels is because there was a conscious decision made on the part of the Capital Projects Committee and the board through capital budget investments to allocate some of the money that would have otherwise went to like a worst first strategy to the pavement management. So it was certainly a juggling act between a lot of competing needs, not only of the roads, but with the other transportation assets and capital needs.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any other comments from the board? Roll it on.
Freeholder Crab?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazaro?
Yes. The resolution read the payment of bills A. Do I have a motion?
Motion to pay the bill.
Second.
A motion by Freeholder Crab and a second by Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion? Call roll, please.
Freeholder Crab?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Rose?
Abstain.
Freeholder Director Lazaro?
Yes. Resolution B, payment of bills.
Motion to pay the rest of the bill.
Motion Freeholder Crab, pay the rest of the bills. Second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion? Call roll, please.
Freeholder Crab?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazaro?
Yes. Resolution read, providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the 2017 budget of the County of Sussex relating to the fiscal year 17 State Homeland Security Program, SHSP, Grant Award number 2017-SS-00043-S01 for a total amount of $168,182.33 for September 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Crab and a second by Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion? This is a grant that's set out to maintain previously purchased Homeland Security Preparedness Grant Fund and equipment. Call the roll, please.
Freeholder Crab?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazaro?
Yes. Personnel. Do I have a motion for the personnel?
So moved.
Motion by Freeholder Crab, Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Graham. Discussion. Call roll.
It's just a vote. It's just-
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
Opposed?
Nay.
No, Jonathan said nay.
Nay.
Wait, who's in?
Have 2-1, 2 nays, 1 yea.
Okay.
Motion fails. Administrative report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Director. I had the pleasure of being able to speak to the Employer Legislative Committee of the Chamber of Commerce this morning and had the opportunity to talk with local business leaders about a variety of legislation that is affecting both the county as well as businesses. Just quickly, I had sent out earlier today and had shared with the business community the National Association of Counties opposition statement concerning the federal government's most recent proposal as it pertains to tax reform, specifically on the implications of the proposed elimination of the state and local tax deduction, otherwise known as SALT. You may have seen some of this in the papers over the past weeks, but in high property tax states like New Jersey, it is estimated that the impact on local property owners, homeowners in New Jersey, will see an increase in more than $800 a year. And I believe that that's actually fairly conservative.
That's an average.
That's on average
Well,
across the country, which is exactly right. I would estimate it well in excess of $1,000 a year for homeowners. And so I have distributed that information to the Freeholder Board. If you all are so inclined, the New Jersey Association of Counties has furnished us with a resolution that could be considered by the board and sent to our members of Congress. In addition, the other pieces of legislation that are of interest both to the county as well as the business community is the cap on binding interest arbitration awards, which there is a bill before the Assembly. It's Assembly Bill 2123 that has been very effective in local and county governments being able to control personnel costs, particularly as it pertains to law enforcement and fire department salary increases. The cap is set to expire at the end of this year, and there's been ongoing coverage as a result of the gubernatorial election as to whether or not the legislature is actually going to consider a permanent extension of that interest arbitration cap. If the legislature fails to do so, the tax levy cap that county and local governments are subject to, it's going to create hardship in terms of how we proceed, as that will significantly alter the landscape that we've been currently operating in for these past few years. Also, too, there is a procurement parity bill in the Senate, Senate Bill 728, as well as Assembly Bill, the companion bill, Assembly Bill 1118, which would go a long way to provide parity across pay-to-play, bid thresholds, as well as prevailing wage. It makes a lot of sense that there would be some parity across these various regulations that governments are subject to, thereby increasing the opportunity for business people to be able to do business with local and county governments. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. County Council?
Nothing to report.
You have unfinished business? Any new business? Public session from the floor. Please note everyone is asked to keep their comments to 5 minutes or less. Please state your name, spell your last name, and state your municipal residency. Do I have a motion to open the public session from the floor?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Rose and a second by Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. The floor is open. Anybody wish to make any comments, please feel free. ahead.
Glenn Hall, Sanderson Township, HULL. Recently, up in Sanderson Township, I noticed that County Route 645, there's a spur off of it that connects to 206. And there was a lawsuit involving that spur. And I see the flags where there's been a survey. I'm curious of the outcome of the lawsuit. There was contention that the road was abandoned at one time and that county didn't have any right to use it. And so the road was never striped. Now I see it's striped. I'm curious what the outcome of that was. Does anybody?
Don't have enough information. If you,
pardon me?
I don't have enough information about the suits, so I have to get me more information.
You weren't involved in it?
No. Most of those types of suits go out to an insurance.
Pardon me?
Most of those types of suits go out to an insurance defense firm. And by naming the road, I don't have enough information regarding the matter. So if you can get more information.
Yarrows was the owner.
And there was an injury? It was that type of suit?
Pardon me?
It was an injury? There was a suit?
No. It was the claim of the county didn't have the right to use the road. And
I'm unaware of litigation, Mr. Holt. So if you want to email me or call me, then I'll try to get more information. There's a lot of these types of matters that go on at different stages. So
just stripes, and the survey marks are there. I find it amazing. Nobody knows anything. How about anybody?
I want to give you a correct answer, Mr. Holt. So call or email me, and we'll find out what the matter is and give you the update.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anybody back there?
My name is Maddie Perez, P-E-R-E-Z, from Harvester Township. My daughter is a student at Sussex Tech. About a week and a half ago, a little spill on our stairs at home and broke a bone in her ankle. When she returned to school, we found out there's no elevator at our Sussex Tech school. It's kind of a unique building because it has two separate upstairs. So in order to go across on the second floor, you actually have to go down and back up. When she did go to school, she had to wait in the guidance office for them to actually move her classes. So these classes are going to be moved indefinitely until we get her off crutches to other classrooms downstairs. I was just kind of surprised that in 2017 we didn't have an elevator in this building, not just for students, but for staff, parents that visit back to school that have mobility issues. It was just kind of surprising. I know elevators are expensive in schools, especially because it would probably need two. There were two separate upstairs that they had. But it just seems a little odd to me that it has not been considered a priority at the school level, county school level. I don't know if anybody was aware of it.
We're aware of it, and thank you for your comments, and we'll look into it and see what the potentials are.
When I did give them a call because I got the frantic text that Mom, there's no elevator. I was told that it does happen pretty often when kids get hurt in sports. But these classes have to get moved. She's had class in the library, the math class in the library, the math class in the culinary arts room. So the entire class has to go down and switch classes until further notice. It just seems like a huge inconvenience for a lot of people, never mind visitors to the building that cannot access this.
The school was built in the 70s?
68.
68. I worked for years building schools in other areas. And some of the schools went back to the 30s and 40s and 50s. None of them had elevators. Americans for Disability Act, the ADA Act, creates certain trips. So if there's major renovations or whatever it is, elevators are very expensive. And a two-floor elevator can be much more expensive than you would think. We could actually blow out a good portion of the school's budget in 1 year by having to facilitate an elevator. In the years that I was on Capitol and also on budget, the schools never requested something of that nature. So my thought to you would be, first of all, talk to the Board of Education.
That's my next.
I think that's your primary avenue. But on a county basis, though, I don't know how it would even be graded here unless there was something that tripped it. If there was a major renovation that required us to do that. Because it requires a lot of other things when you do that. We have to go through and rip out bathrooms and change the size of everything. I think a lot of that's already been done. Elevators are another story, and really, it would not be uncommon for an elevator to run, for a small elevator like that to run a couple $100,000.
Yeah, I'm sure it's, $300,000 range each. But I know there's grants available for the compliance. I'm reading some of the reports, with the state Department of Education did cite that they did not have the elevators, but were meeting the needs by moving the classrooms, which is something that, since I was told it happens very often, that it should be addressed. Checking to see what's available as far as grants for this type of innovation.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Kavanaugh, K-A-V-A-N-G-H. I'm the president of CWA Local 1032. We represent over 5,000 members throughout New Jersey, including approximately 350 supervisory and non-supervisory employees who work for Sussex County. Our members are committed to providing the best possible services to the residents of this county. I know all of you know that. And they're doing so in an increasingly difficult environment that demands that they do more with less every day. Whether it's providing transportation or other services to senior citizens, providing emergency telecommunications, keeping roads, bridges, and infrastructure safe, including working on some of the pavement management work that we heard about earlier, providing public health services and public education, again, which has been recognized and acknowledged tonight, providing assistance to at-risk youth. As you know, the list could go on and on. They do all of this as committed public servants. A couple of meetings ago, you heard from Mary Martin, a member of ours who works at the Dennis branch of the county library. She articulated the extremely diverse nature of the work performed by librarians on a daily basis, and it was clear how much she loves that work. As you know, we've had members attending these meetings now consistently for a while, and it's our plan to have them speak more regularly at these meetings to introduce themselves to you and the work that they do for the residents of this town. Why do we feel it's necessary to do that? Because all too often in the discussion of county services, the people that provide those services are invisible, only discussed in economic terms and difficult choices. But they are people, many of them residents of the county themselves, who are also often struggling to make ends meet. County employees here in Sussex are among the lowest paid county employees in New Jersey, yet the perception is that they alone are the cause of all of the county's economic woes. This perception isn't unique to Sussex County, it's true for all public workers, and it's really the result of the narrative of the last several years that has pitted taxes against services in the state. But as is true throughout the state, although county workers did not create the problems facing the county today, they oftentimes become the most convenient scapegoat, and that's a narrative that we hope to change. The reality is that we have a smaller county workforce. There are more part-timers than ever before. There is difficulty recruiting and retaining employees with salaries that have become uncompetitive. All of these factors have the potential to impact the county's ability to provide services in the most effective and efficient ways. And that potentially has negative consequences for the county residents who depend upon them. There's certainly an appreciation for the fact that you as elected leaders have difficult decisions to make. But our goal is to stress that those decisions have real consequences and to ensure that the voices of the people that you depend upon to provide services for county residents are heard as part of that process. Our members are not just a head count or a generic budget line. They are committed public servants and residents themselves who deserve to be heard as part of that conversation. Thank you very much.
Yes.
My name is Maureen Slack, S-L-A-C-K, I live in Hampton Township. I'm proud to say I'm employed by the county, it'll be 30 years in March. I don't need an award for that, but I'm proud to say I'm employed. I work at
know. And I do know that Monday, October 16th is Boss's Day. So is that why he got appointed tonight? For Boss's Day? Is that it? It's a Starbucks.
Right into the wire now.
We could have gotten flowers.
I was going to say buy him flowers.
I've been through many health officers, secretaries, inspectors. We've seen them all. We've seen them come, we've seen them go. I think where we are right now, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. He's got a great staff to support him. And unfortunately, we didn't know that Jim was getting appointed tonight until 4 o'clock. So I volunteered to be the spokesperson for Jim. And we're very glad that he was going to be our new health officer. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for
very
coming
much.
in.
Thank you for
You're
coming.
welcome. Starbucks card, I guess. And Monday is Boss's Day. I didn't make that up. I'm gonna go watch the Yankees.
What's your score? What's your score?
You check in?
I don't know.
Anyone else? A motion to close public session?
Motion closed.
A motion to close by Freeholder Graham, a second by Freeholder Rose. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Director, could I just ask?
Sure.
Ask you a question? Since we've turned down the personnel report, does that mean that nothing on here happens?
No.
No.
There was only one item requiring freeholder approval this evening. The rest of that information contained on the multiple pages are simply information.
But it's an item signed off by the county treasurer and the county administrator.
Requiring Board of Chosen Freeholder approval, consistent with the county's adopted hiring policy.
Reminders, October 12th, 1 p.m., the Uniform Construction Code Board of Appeals will be here. October 12th, Water Quality Management Program here.
Canceled, sorry, Mr. Director. That's canceled.
Which one?
The water quality.
Water Quality Management is canceled. Make a note. No water quality this month. October 16th, 3 p.m., the Planning Board Development Review, Administration Building Room 3. October 16th, Agriculture Development Board in the Freeholder Meeting Room. And add this one in, on October 17th, 1 p.m., the CAC Citizens Advisory Committee will meet in the Freeholder Meeting Room. That's October 17th. October 18th, Youth Services Commission here. October 19th, the Mental Health Board will be here. October 25th, 9 a.m., HSAC will be here. And October 25th is our next Freeholder meeting, and that will also be here. Seeing no further business, I'll accept the motion for adjournment.
Make that motion.
A motion by Freeholder Rose, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Graham, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried, we are adjourned.